we've probably all seen this in our careers that you can be the same person, the same level of work ethic and competency, and be treated by one organization or one boss as if you're not capable of sweeping the floor, and someone else is ready to start your presidential campaign.
I'm curious, when you began your career many, many years ago, many moons ago, did you ever imagine that you'll have this current leadership role in your organization, that you'll be that person?
Okay, well, obviously, I'm the first to jump in again. It's maybe saying something about my leadership style that I'll go first so that other people have time to think about what they want to say. Growing up, I always took on a lot of different kinds of leadership roles, whether it was in student government or different kind of opportunities to lead. I wouldn't say that it was not something I saw, but I will say the reason I am leading an organization today is because my co-founder, a man, believed in me and saw me to be someone that he wanted to start a company with when I never saw that for myself. This was not in my pathway. And so I think as we talk about women in leadership, it's really important, especially today, to talk about male allyship and the fact that sometimes women don't see in themselves what someone else could see or what the world may see because we don't have a lot of role models that have necessarily come before us in some of these fields that have tended to be more male dominated, like starting a tech company. And so I would say specifically that opportunity to collaborate and to find a partner, I think helps sometimes some women, certainly myself, have more confidence to step in without feeling that kind of imposter syndrome. If someone would have told me even 5, 6 years ago that I would have founded multiple tech startups, I would not have believed them.
Actually, this bundles really well the next question I was about to ask. So let me add this to the combo. I've seen that a lot where our own path is definitely influenced by the people around us. So I'll continue with that question with adding this element. Who are the people, the allies around you?
My becoming a quote unquote leader is largely due to the fact that at some point I transitioned from being the youngest person in the room to the oldest person in the room, even though I might not look that old, which maybe speaks a bit to the lack of diversity in tech from an age perspective. But I remember being in school and getting involved in projects, and AI Launch Lab comes out of an initiative at Concordia. I was 10 years older than everyone else. So it kind of made sense for me to fall into that role.
You have to learn from your mistakes. I've always gotten opportunities to lead in male-dominated environments where diversity wasn't really inclusive. It just happens to be that way. I studied in Italy. It's very, very male-dominated. And I could tell you that once you come into environments where you have this diversity, you're going to make mistakes. It's just the way we're wired in some ways. But the key isn't making the mistake. The key is learning from your mistakes. And it's funny that, Shelly, you mentioned that a man believed in you, and I have 2 daughters, and I always think of it that way. And I'm like, somebody has to believe in you. It's not about your gender or anything like that. It's really about someone believing in someone else's capability, no matter what they are. The key learnings for me is that no matter who you are, there's always that diamond in the rough. And it's just about confidence. I believe in you, and I know you can do this. And do you want to do this?
10 years ago, I would have think that I could be where I am now because I was evolving, well, first in the corporate world, and then I worked in the government. So even if I was supported in my leadership, I always felt that being true to myself was a little bit aside of what required from this kind of environment. So if I'm where I am right now, it's really thanks to Ally, yes, but also to the organizational culture in which I succeeded to evolve after that, more in the social economy sector, international development sector, where there is already a culture supporting women leadership, inclusive leadership, creativity, leadership around emotion. So this is what really helped me to gain some confidence and stand out.
That's a really good point, Éléonore. I just wanted to mention that we've probably all seen this in our careers, that you can be the same person, the same level of work ethic and competency, and be treated by one organization or one boss as if you're not capable of sweeping the floor and someone else is ready to start your presidential campaign. Having that culture that feels that you are empowered, that you are supported, that you can achieve is something that is important for young people, I think, especially to realize that it's not you. Sometimes it's you. But if you feel that, it just may be that your gifts are better served somewhere else. There's a phrase that I have used over the years when I have unfortunately had to let people go. And we really talk about it in a way that is focusing on a concept of ikigai. That means your reason for being, your reason for waking up every day. And it's the answer to the 4 questions. What am I good at? What do I love? What does the world need, and how can I get paid for it? And so when people are not living in their ikigai, you can feel it, right? They're not great at what they're doing, or they come in with an attitude that, you know, as a leader, they don't love it. So it's not a good fit. The output is not what the company needs. And so in those conversations, I've come to say, I'm going to give you the opportunity to succeed somewhere else. And I have found that to be a really powerful connection point with those employees that have actually turned out to be wonderful advocates over the years. They still see me as a mentor. We have a relationship in a way that most people that have had to let someone go do not necessarily have that rapport. And it's because you can see someone when their light is dimmed, and you can see them in a completely different environment when they are their best selves. And so I would just sort of leave that out there as well.
I just
Go
want to
ahead.
jump on something important Shelly just mentioned, and it's linked to women leadership too, because noticing the ikigai of your employee required compassion, a coaching approach that is basically linked to women leadership typical traits. But when you do that, it's proven that it increases performance because your employee, your team will be more engaged, because the basic human needs at work to be fully happy is autonomy, sense of belonging, and sense of competency. And in order to be fully you, fully on your picks, there is a need for someone to see you fully too. So it's really important to engage in this kind of conversation just to increase performance and employee engagement.